What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, I'm back. Check me out. No more technical difficulties at the moment. Sentences, meh. But either way, you're still coming back, and I appreciate that. Your likes, your subscribes, you're keeping that soul tribe growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy your higher self has brought you here. You are in for an amazing journey. Now, what I'm going to be doing this week is a tarot card reading for the week of November 6th through the 12th. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So, with that being said, let's jump into, that transition, Gemini. I tell you, I'm ecstatic. And so are my friends. It's going to be a good time. Now, I'm going to be pulling 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left and upper right-hand corners are going to be some future outcomes you might be considering. The bottom left is going to be whatever perspective you're thinking about in relationship to the nature of the problem. And then finally, the bottom right will be whatever messages your higher self would like you to know. And in case you all were curious, I'm using Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. The imagery on these cards are super cool, so I'll make sure to show you those all throughout. But without further ado, higher self, what do we have in store for Gemini this week? Let me get your cards pulled, and we will get right to it. Ooh, Gemini, wisdom. Wisdom out the, oh my, yes, so much wisdom. It's good. It's fine. Don't panic. I am elated. You're going to be so just incredibly wise after this. Okay. Okay. Let's get these cards straightened up, and let's figure out what's going on, Gemini. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I'm with it. All right, Gemini. Let's do this thing. Because for the nature of your problem, pull the 5 of Cups. And then the cards that came along with it are the 5 of Wands and the 9 of Swords. So, dropping that heavy wisdom this week, and that is okay. 5 of, really just overall energy. I feel like we're feeling a little bit down this week. Well, and that's going to vary depending on where we're at in all of this. So hopefully I caught you early enough. But with this 5 of Cups, the 5 of Cups for me is a card of disappointments, it's a card of regret, it's a card of just a disappointments. You know, I feel like with this card coming up, I'm feeling more so when this card comes, it has something to do with the past, you know. You could be currently where something is disappointing you, where you're just like, man, like this whole situation just might be disappointing. But more so I'm feeling with this, and it shouldn't be, and you'll see why in a minute. Because I feel like with this popping up in the past, either currently or in the past, we're carrying a monkey on our back. You know, I feel like there's a lot of, if things had gone differently, if I could switch this up, you know, then maybe all of this wouldn't happen, and it's leading to this 5 of Wands energy. Because the 5 of Wands energy could be of frustration, of quarreling, of strife, of combativeness. So this could be too, maybe this was an argument that has happened, maybe but I'm feeling more so that you're just kind of beating up on yourself this week, as far as just maybe a decision you made that might not have been the wisest one, and it's just become this thing of like, ugh, and then now you're trying to dig yourself out of this hole, and in the attempts to do that, it's just like it seems like just little things seem to be just kind of piling on and piling on and piling on, and it's getting out of hand, because now we're getting into this 9 of Swords energy, and Nine of Swords, what I was just doing there, that's exactly what Nine of Swords does. Because it'll usually just start with, in my analogy that I do with the start, it starts with the one sword. And then it's like, each one of these swords is dripping a little bit of blood. They're taking something out of you. So it's like, this one will come in, bam, okay. Nothing too crazy, but then it invites its friend, bam, bam. And then that process is continuing. And next thing you know, we got all these swords. And look at that, gems are running. We don't know what happened. Well, I know, right? Where's all the good news? Where's the excitement, Justin? Right here. Because, let me say one thing. When this card pops up, I do like, because this is one of our cards, Gemini. This is Mars, and how appropriate with Mars being retrograde. This is Mars and Gemini. And so I feel like with this popping up, this is going to be, this is my card of compassion. I know it says cruelty, I got a different C word for you. Compassion. Because that's really what the Nine of Swords needs. To alleviate all of that, my thing is, you got to start with that first sword. Because otherwise, it's like once everyone comes to this party, they're just going to start hemorrhaging. And then, we're stuck in this energy here. I feel like whatever's got you down, whatever mistakes that you feel you've made, whatever that looks like, start coming out with a little compassion, because that's where the healing is going to start. It's not going to be, because I get it. It's one of those things. It's hard. It's hard when you're in it. It sounds like I might be making light of it, but I really do. I don't want you to stay in like where we're not learning anything. You're just going through this. I don't want you to stay in that as much as you don't want to stay in that. And that's why I say that with this energy here, just try being a little more compassionate, or be even compassionate and being kind. Be very kind to yourself. And you know what? If this has something to do with others too, and I know that can be hard as well, but showing a little compassion to others, if this is like a third party involved, because here's the thing, it's one of those things we could, and I'm not sure how long this situation has been going on, if it's something recent, if it's happened a while back, but either way, it's something that you're choosing to carry, and you don't, and it's one thing. It's one thing to carry it to learn from something. It's another to carry it just to drag it on and drag it on and drag it on and drag it on. Because then eventually it's just, we get to this point, it's like, what are we doing? How do we get out of that? This is really tough, and I do understand, and I do, and let me preface too, because this is something I've been telling all the zodiac signs. I've been feeling a shift in the energy. It could be, might be reading too much into it. Could be that the actual energy is going on because the moon is doing some crazy stuff right now. And, being a Cancer, I'm feeling all that. But, every week you come, this is not me laying out your future here. This is the energy that you bring to me. And I want you to know that you are in a safe space here. Because I do appreciate that. I feel like you're trusting me more with this energy, because this couldn't happen without you. I'd just be pulling just to be pulling. So I do appreciate that, and I do know that that's why I'm trying to show you some of this kindness too. If this has been hard for you to show yourself some kindness, well, then maybe having an outside force to help you start that process might help healing this, because this is a lot to be carrying on our back. And you know what? Let's go over here. Let's jump into some future stuff here. Because I do feel that there's going to be some beautiful growth here. But it's going to be one of those things, how long do we want to hang on to this Five of Cups? At what point is it just not serving us a purpose anymore? And in the sense that, like, you've learned all you possibly can from this, and now the healing could begin. Because I feel like it's one of those things, don't you want to feel a little bit lighter, that, get out of this? Because this is a weird mix of energy. You're stuck in your head, your emotions are a little raw, you're feeling kind of hot, frustrated. That's a weird, very unique mix to be in all at once. And I can see where that'll get us in Three of Swords, even Four of Cups, honestly. But the Aeon, you ain't with me. Because with the Three of Swords, as you can guess, this is, even the pictures are very somber. It's a card of sorrow, card of melancholy, card of just like, maybe this really, I feel like it's dug home. We've hit a soft spot here. And yeah, that's something, This could be to this could also be as well if you've been, let's say you've been kind of been really busy with stuff. I'm trying to see because I do feel that maybe while going on through your whole, like going on through your day to day routine, and I only say that because of him, and we'll talk about that more. We're gonna get to you, buddy. Um, but it could be one of those things. Maybe you're not. While you're going through all of this, you're putting on that strong face. It's one of those things. Maybe one side of Gemini is dealing with this, and then the other side is putting on that facade. That everything's cool, everything's calm, but that affects you too. And where I'm going with that is, it might be a good time too to if you have been just sort of running around for a while, maybe trying to work through these issues. Maybe we've even been trying to indulging in like escapist type of things. Just to maybe just get through the day, because sometimes we can get to this place where it's like, well, I want to feel these things, but also I have bills to pay, I have this to do, I got kids to pick up. Life can't stop just because I'm feeling this way. Well, here's the thing. Life can stop, and it will stop in the sense that, like, if this is getting too much for you and it does start to affect your mentality, your health, your all of that, it's going to eventually get you. This, I feel like, is a perfect recipe for a hanged man situation here. And not in a bad way, but eventually, your higher self doesn't want you to feel this any more than you do. And I want, and all that to say, and this is going to be a little weird, but stay with me. I do feel like with this popping up, I feel like it's the Four of Cups is my card of gratitude, but I also feel like there's this thing. You know what? And normally, I'm not even really feeling this as what it normally is. Really, what I'm feeling. Another thing that it could mean is the seeds of decay and the fruits of pleasure. In that instance could be where you're trying to fake it, like I was talking about, where it's like you're trying to put on a strong face. Um, you're trying to get to this place where you're trying to convince yourself that everything is okay. But even in that, maybe you're trying to have fun, trying to fake it through. But even in that kind of mentality, that'll sully your cups. That'll get it to where you get it to where something that used to bring you fun, if you're not in the right mindset that you used to be in, even something like this could start to lose its shimmer, lose its shine. And then that's how these seeds are all, you look at that, four seeds, four cups. And that's what happens when we don't deal with these things, is that they even start affecting your everyday. The things that used to bring you joy, that laughter, that pleasure, it's become like a luxury. It's just become just another commonplace thing. It diminishes its value, and that's not what this wants to do. It really just wants to be seen. It really wants to be seen and felt and healed. Um, yeah, and I'm not saying that you have to tackle this all at once, because believe me, Gemini, I'm feeling this, and that would be, even though I don't have, like, I don't know the nitty gritty of it. I feel you. I feel you. The cancer in me, I'm picking up all this feelings here. Um, and that's something you don't really want to carry that around. So I feel like this is, oh, I was saying there, you don't have to tackle this all at once. It's one of those things. Let's start with this. Was the root of our problem here. Let's start with what disappointed us. What are we regretting? What happened? Come on, Gemma, what happened? Tell me. And again, I'm just trying to lighten up this energy a little bit, because it is going to be okay. Because I do. It's one thing. It's one thing on the other, when you're on the other side of it. Look, when you're on the outside looking in, it's very easy to say that you're going to get through this, you're going to be fine, you're going to be great. But believe that, because that's what the Aeon card is about. This isn't permanent. This stuff, just like life is going to keep going, and eventually you're going to, and you know what? It's no surprise too, considering the time we're in. Scorpio season, Mars is in retrograde. There's a lot of big energy going on right now. But I feel like let me tell you what the Aeon cards is about. This is a card of closure. It's a card of resolutions, and a card of definitive action. So I feel like and I'm really feeling emphasis on this definitive action here. Let's just start taking one step to healing. We can even break this down even further. We don't even have to tackle this whole Five of Cups as a whole. Let's just pick one cup. Let's even try to break it down like that, Gemini. Let's get it to where let's really air this thing out. Just like, because this could even be, you know what, too much. Okay, I can deal with one cup. And then I can deal with another cup. And then this has become a daily thing. You know, how are we dealing with the cups? Bam. 5 days, we got our cups done. Ooh, 9 days. Let's try to cut that down to 4. You know, then we can start playing around with it, Gemini. We can start doing this energy. You know what? Here we go. Here we go. Story's cooking up. You feel it? Because look at where you're at now. We're starting to get into our Queen of Wands energy. Got a little more mindfulness here. 5 of Swords. And then we got the 6 of Wands. And I love that. And that's something, too, I've been meaning to try to make sure to bring up. When I do it in these groups of 3, depending on how they're grouped together, if I have like suits in one thing, that enhances the energy of stuff. So, well, it's a mess right now. So just, I guess that's not valid right now. But it's valid in this case. Because I want to talk about this first before I get to that. Because that's going to all make sense. Because with this 5 of Swords energy, you know, while you're taking this definitive action, I do feel like there are going to be moments where, you know, sometimes we get it and we tackle. I saw you tackle those cups like a boss, but now that we moved on to those swords are a little bit trickier because, you know, this is you know, mental stuff. Look at that. We're in our head right now. Sword stuff can be a little bit trickier. So I feel like this is popping up to say, again, just a little compassion. Be easy on yourself when you're going through this. You know, you're gonna have your great days where I'm like, man, knocked it out, and then you're gonna have your other days when things hit you a little bit harder, and it's just like, oh, maybe 3 of Swords is gonna take like a week, whereas 5 of Cups I knocked out in a few days. You know, like it's, you know, I'm just throwing out random numbers here, but it's one of those things. It's gonna be a process. It's not there. You're gonna be days where you're rocking it. There are gonna be other days where it's just like, whew, okay, that was a lot. That was a whole lot. But great news, Gemini. Great news. Because we have the Queen of Wands. I feel like if you come at it with this Queen of Wands energy, you're going to get to this victory. And this is what I was talking about with those wands enhancing each other, because you feel, oh, yeah. Yeah, I just got chills thinking about that. Because I feel like if we channel this energy, and let me tell you what energy you're channeling. Because the Queen of Wands is about adaptability. She's my cool as a cucumber card. Just calm, cool, collected. You know, she is, you know, she's a card of attraction too, you know, and I feel like in attraction of this sense, you know, attracting things that if it's gotten her off balance, you know, she can attract different energies to come and balance that thing out, you know, kind of really alleviate that, because that's how she works. She's a surprisingly fluid figure. But even then, you know, when I think about it, she's, you know, the queens represent water and the wands represent fire. So wands have to deal with like with energy, intuition, and water. You know, water has to deal, and the cups will have to deal with like water, that emotional, that flexibility. So it's no wonder that she's a G at working through this energy and making this just blend around her. Because when you look at this here, you would think all this fire underneath her, it's like, girl, you better move. And she's like, what for? This is under control. Y'all are panicking, and it's fine. She's here to let you know that it's fine. Look at her cat, Felix. I'm still trying to come up with a name for this cat. So we're different problem. That's an issue, your problem, girl. But all of that to say, this is going to get you channel that Queen of Wands energy. That is going to get you to this balance energy that I was talking about here. You're going to get to that victory, that love, that success, that gain. That's what the 6 of Wands is all about. You know, we're starting to get, and look at that. What was that? How many mindfulness things we got here? Look at that. 6 of Wands. You got 1 wand for everyone. And look at that. You even got 1 despair, Gemini. Isn't that fantastic? And then this will start brightening up. This is going to be great. This really is. I feel it. I feel it. I get it. Hold on. Let's get where your head's at. Because now we have the Knight of Cups, the Prince of Cups, and the 4 of Discs. I love that both these guys showed up. And just so you know, too, this isn't a gender-specific reading, so this definitely, you know, take these energies as it applies. Because I really, Knight of Cups. So this is kind of what I was talking about with this 4 of Cups here. You know, it's one of those things. The Knight of Cups is a fan of fun. You know, he's a thing that his thing is that he can he rise up to the occasion of the situation? Absolutely. But if you were to just present him with this, he would look at you like you had 10 heads. Like, what? Pass. Hard pass. But, and then you know what? If he, or you know what? Okay, let's say we force this on him. You know what he's going to do? Or what he can be prone to, because this is more of the negative aspects of him. He's the type that if things are not getting fun and he doesn't want to deal with that, then he's the type that will indulge in escapism. He might, result to substance abuse, intoxication. So this is only going to resonate for some, and this is not medical advice. But I just want you to know that you don't have to, there are healthier ways to go about dealing with these things that's going to get you to, that'll keep you in that higher, they're like higher vibratory behaviors that we could do definitely to help this. Because the thing with the Knight of Cups, sure, he has that stigma, but you know what though, he's more than that, because he represents the ocean. He's really strong. He's a really strong card. I mean, the peacock down here is supposed to represent the brilliance that the ocean is, because you're brilliant, Gemini, and this crab is supposed to represent the strength of the ocean. And so I feel like with this here, this is one of those things, once you show yourself that compassion, that strength, really know that you can rise up into the occasion and believe in that. You're going to get where we can get into the Six of Wands energy. And also too, this with the Prince of Cups, this is one of those things where I'm really glad he showed up too, because this is my card of don't suffer in silence. And in the sense, again, this is not medical advice, but I feel like this is more so kind of like reaching out to your soul tribe, reaching out, or just someone that you trust, that you can rely in, so that you can just like, hey, I'm not trying to have a pity party, but I need someone I can bounce, if you got some time, I just want to bounce some ideas off of you. I'm stuck in this place, trying to see maybe if we have a fresh perspective, because the thing is, that's what, when I was talking about putting on that facade earlier, that's what I was talking about with him. Because that's what he does. On the outside, everything is cool, he's calm, he's collected. But underneath, I talk about this steam brewing behind him. Those are his emotions. Those are the things that he's not willing to face. And those things are, you see, they're getting ready to envelope this whole picture. And this too, this is one of Scorpio's cards. And I know Scorpios can come across as, somebody might have Scorpio in your chart, take it as it resonates, but it's one of those things. Scorpios could come across as secretive, and that's only because it's because you don't want to have these, when you have to be vulnerable and expose these feelings, who likes to do that? That's tough. Even for me, that's one thing, to have to pour your heart out and just be in that space of just like, yo, this is what I'm working with here. What, like, help. And a Gemini, I do feel like if you're here, if you're watching this is a good sign, because that's what I'm here for. We're part of a soul tribe here. Absolutely 100%. That's the whole reason I started this, because I want you to find that foundation. And what you're thinking about it, you want that foundation too. We're trying to get back on solid ground where we have control over this, and you absolutely do, because this is a card of power, of authority, of gain, and just really getting that stability back. And I like that this is that this is kind of the sun in Capricorn too, because it'll shine. I feel like this is asking you to just kind of like shine a light on all of this, and that's where your foundation is going to begin. That's because this is healing. This is healing that we want done down here. That's what's going on. And let's move on to let's move on to where your higher self is at, because I feel like your higher self is going to bring this home nicely. Because higher self wants you to know that with the little Three of Cups, the Star card, yes, Star. And you know what? Knight of Cups. We're going to start with that. We're going to start with you. I'm coming to you guys. The Star card. This is a card of hope. This is a card of spiritual realization, of just that crystal clear, just like clarity. Crystal clear clarity. Look at how, wow, we got so much insight, Gemini. That was incredible. But This is a card of just like of hope, and really I feel like of unexpected help as well. So I feel like for some, there might be, if we're opening ourselves up to the idea of maybe sharing stuff, I feel like there's going to be some help coming in for you to deal with all this. Your soul tribe feels your vibration, and it wants to help lift that up. We feel you, Gemini. For those of who are resonating with this, we feel you, and to remember that you're a star. You're an absolute star. I mean, cause what? And I'm not maybe like an amateur one, but what does a star become? A star eventually becomes a sun. Whether that's true, I'm not sure, but doesn't that sound nice in this analogy? We can, you know what? If we manifested Gemini, you can absolutely go from being a star to being a sun, because why not? You, you're incredible. I see you. We were doing it. And then we can get to this place where we're back really just like abundance. And you remember, cups have to deal with emotional matters. I feel like where we can get back to our emotional abundance, where we're not feeling so down all the time, because once that emotional abundance fills, everything else really kind of falls into place. But just like you have to just like when our resources are down, when we're worried about how we're going to get our bills paid, how to do this, how to do that, when we're so focused on the money aspect of it, we have to be as equally invested in the emotional aspect of it as well, because if one of those are even off, it's ultimately is going to affect the other, and then it's going to become a whole thing. And I feel like in order to get through that, you're going to have to get some grounded energy too, because that's what the Knight of Disc is about. His image for me has really kind of changed as we've been developing our relationship, and I feel with him, this is really a time to just get really grounded. Maybe do some meditation. Maybe even get outside. Get your toes in the ground. Get your feet on the grass and bask in the sun a little bit. Just maybe get some fresh air. Because we want to get you back at this place where, I don't know if you can see on his shield, I mean, he's just beaming. He's in a good place, in a good, and not like over the top good, just like a really balanced, confident, like whatever life of he's going into the day. What you got, day? I'm coming in brilliant, shining bright. Like the sun might not be here, but Gemini, you were bringing the sun for like 2 weeks. The sun is always lingering, I feel like, in your realm. You know what? Let's go ahead and I think it's okay to switch back over. But yeah, last thing with him, I also want to emphasize too that he is a card of patience and perseverance. Be patient with yourself in all this, because I do. I feel you on this. Like, it's one of those things I feel like even my jokes are coming off a little more somber, just because, I don't want to. I want you to feel happy. I want you to get some giggles out of this, but I do want you to also know that I'm doing that not to make light of it, but to let you know that it will be okay, because that's why I feel you came here for some kind of guidance, so maybe looking for some answers. This is the energy, that you've given to me, and I feel that, and I want you to know that it is okay, and you are going to be okay. It's just, even remember, it's even if it's like one day at a time, because even one day can feel kind of daunting. Every moment, as little pockets pop up. Okay, I think I'm gonna deal with this today, or deal with this right now. I have the time. I'm gonna deal with this moment. I'm a deal 5 of swords. Okay, that's a little bit. Now we're a little bit lighter, and then just keeping that and keeping that and keeping that, and everything's great, Gemini. So I hope that resonates with you. If we're in this space, I don't want you to I just don't want to, energy at you. But no, if we're in this space, I do hope that that you found some goodness in this, that we found some steps, maybe to get towards doing that healing. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, share, and for just a better picture of all this, and just maybe kind of help you get along through this, check your moon, check your rising. And this week we're checking our North Node. Justin, what is a North Node? I'll tell you, Gemini, because it popped up in Celestial News Weekly. So, on a lighter note, and this actually might make your day, who knows. But I was telling all the other signs, I'm still, because you know how I feel about Celestial News Weekly, I love it. But I am running out of hand gestures. I'm just like, I would need at least 4 more arms, I think, to keep this interesting. I feel like one of those I really need to look up what these people do. But and I'm off to a bad start because I don't know what that is. So energy's still going to be high. Hand signs might be a little bit lower. So if you were just like, look at this guy flailing all over the place, you're in luck. I'm gonna calm it down a little bit, but only a little bit, just in the arm department. Hang in, just stay tuned. Now, with the news, busy. Well, the moon is busy. This is gonna be. There's gonna be a total full moon lunar eclipse on the 8th of Gemini. Oh, I'm so excited. It's really cool. Um, Let me tell you why. Not just because it's my ruler, partially, like half. But a full moon in general represents kind of like the releasing of energy, the manifestation. So this could be a good time too. Ooh, Gemini, this could be a good time to just start letting some stuff go. Just like start manifesting some good things in our lives. Like, all right, I want to raise my vibration. I want to get where I want to find the lessons. I want to be as enthusiastic as Justin is when these cards pop up. You know, manifest that because you totally can, especially with this energy is going on. And you know what? You're probably feeling this too because with eclipses tend to throw curveballs at us. So it's going to be one of those things. We're definitely going to need our Queen of Wands energy. Wow, everyone's just popping up. Look at this. Look at Gemini, just flawless. Flawless. Oh, and then I lose my sentences. Stick with that Queen of Wands energy because the eclipse is going to throw curveballs at you, you know. And it might feel like it's coming at you kind of fast too, you know. But I do feel like, again, a little patience, a little perseverance, a little, you know. You combine these two energies, Gemini, I feel like you're gonna. Oh, I don't know if you. There we go. If you combine these two energies, Gemini, here, this regalness that you're bringing. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's strength too. You too, buddy. Absolutely. Bring this trio here. We gotta navigate this just fine. And also, too, the moon's gonna be in the 11th house, and it's in Taurus, which the moon is exalted in Taurus. Oh, Gemini, it's magical what's going on. And with it being in the 11th house, this might bring up to challenge like our goals, our objectives, our friendships, and even where we kind of fit in our groups, you know, in our soul tribe. So um, now, that's just what to look forward to during this time. But it really is going to be a spectacular time because there's so many things that are aligning in all of this. I absolutely love it. Now, why I brought up the North Node is because when I was talking about all that goals and stuff, the North Node is going to be like, it's going to be very close to the moon. They're probably like 10 degrees apart or so when this is going down. But I brought that up because the North Node has to deal with goals. Excuse me, another name that is known as is the dragon's head, which is super cool. But this kind of it indicates the work that we either the work that needs to be done in this lifetime, or any new kind of faculties or skills that we need to pick up while we're going through this journey. And I feel like, you know, bringing that up with, you know, how your moon is being moon is bringing challenges at you and whatnot, or the eclipse is bringing challenges. This is a good time too if we need just some kind of direction. You know, maybe we've been feeling kind of aimless, kind of lost, and just not sure where to go. You know, maybe with looking into this North Node, maybe this kind of will incite some just some new perspectives. You know, maybe to go about dealing with all of these energies here. So just something to keep in mind. Next, a little more moon stuff. This is going to be quick. I want to talk about void of course, because when the moon goes void of course, it's this period of time, because the moon travels within each sign every 2.5 days, roughly. And when it's during that transition time, there's a period of time when it goes from one sign to the other, which is called the void of course, where the moon just kind of wanders. Where it's going, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, moon minds its own business. I mind my own business. We had a great relationship. It's cool. But during this time, it's a good time for recharging, for some quiet introspection, for some meditation. And this is a time too. And, you know, the thing with tarot and all of this, you know, it's like, it's not less of like this stuff running your life, but just figuring out how to work with the energy. So, because this could be too where I where things tend to kind of fall through the cracks. So if you got any big plans, or you're going to be scheduling some things, and just so you know too, the void of course, the time never lasts, or as far as I know, it doesn't last any much longer than a day. It always varies. The longest I've seen so far is when Scorpio went to Sagittarius, and that was like 19 hours. But most of the time, we're talking like an hour or two. I mean, what? Sagittarius to Capricorn was like 11 minutes. It's like, what is going on? But yeah. So if during those times it might be, and just pay attention to that. See how that energy works for you. But it's just like a time where just some plans might fall through, or things are subject to change. It's kind of hard to lock things down. And that's going to happen twice during this week. It'll be during the 9th. It will be from 6 a.m. to 7:36 a.m., so about an hour and 36 minutes. And then from the 11th, or on the 11th, it'll be from 4:28 to 6:21 p.m. Both p.m. It's not going to be all day. And so, but we're looking at like an hour and 53 minutes. So just something to, if you have that time, carve out for some meditation, or, people are trying to make some plans, be like, hit me up in like an hour or so. Now, let's get some aspects, and I'll get your surprise card. The sun is going to be conjunct with Mercury, and during this time, it's kind of it shines a light on our mental processes. So you remember how I was talking about maybe meeting up with some friends, meeting up with your soul tribe? It's a good time for scheduling meetings, conversations, negotiations, contracts, all that good stuff. And speaking of friends, I always talk about my Gem friends here, but did you know that they can help, kind of assist you along with these energies as well? And something that'll help you assist with this sun being conjunct with Mercury is good old friend sunstone here, and a quartz. That's definitely those energies will kind of help you move along through this stuff real easy, feel, meditate with some of this stuff. See how this, play around with it, Gemini. Have some fun. We've been feeling kind of bad. Let's have just a little fun when you can. Next, Mercury is going to be conjunct with the North Node, because yeah, they can totally do that. And this is going to be a time where, I feel like you're going to be like where you have like all these good ideas. You're feeling real independent, real prolific, and just like want to crank it out. But something about the timing doesn't seem to be lining up. It might feel like you're out of sync with the world, and that people are just being a little overly critical of your ideas, have their opinions, whatever it may have you. But I feel like this is less of a time that people are feeling overly critical, and it's more of a time of how are we perceiving things? How are we hearing stuff? It's just like at the beginning when I talk about, take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. That's what this energy is about. Really, really putting that to practice. Because it's one of those things, if something doesn't apply for you, or if you feel like it's like, if someone's like, oh, well, that's not a good idea, Gemini, and you're like, well, no, I think it's a great idea, and here's why. And if they're still, if your gut is telling you otherwise, keep it going. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest with them. And there doesn't need to be a fight or anything. It's just like, okay, no, thanks for that. That gives me something to think about. Absolutely. And my good old quartz friends, another one. Give you that mental clarity. Absolutely. Lastly, Venus is going to be squared with Saturn. And this might bring up issues of like relationships, and kind of figure out who to let in and who to open up to. So again, this is oh, look at the stars are lining for you. But this is just a good time with this energy going on, just to maybe establish some new boundaries. Just check where everybody is. Really kind of see. Maybe we haven't. Maybe we don't know where our soul tribe's at. We're like, where is everybody at in this? Where's our relationships at? It could be just a good time just to kind of check in with that. And a good. Oh, and I got 2 friends I need to make. But this some good crystals to work with this energy would be either some opal or onyx. So. Yeah, I just, any little bit to make the news a little more exciting, I'm all for it. So I hope you enjoyed that as well. Let me get your surprise card. I appreciate you sticking through with me. Nice. Okay. 3 of disc. This is a good thing to end off on, because this is definitely going to require a lot of 3 of disc, and the 3 of disc is about work. Putting in that initiative, putting in that time, putting in that just that effort into healing. I really do feel like all of this, we got some healing that we need to do. And I do hope that you found at least a little bit coming here. And know that you don't have to shoulder this all by yourself. You know, it's one of those things. Partner up with some people. You know, figure this out because it could be. It really can be. It's amazing. You'd be so surprised. I had a, you know what, for an example, I had a problem, you know, a nature of my problem for something going on with the channel, and I was just sort of spitballing, just kind of talking out loud with a buddy, and he brought on like so many ideas, made my life so much easier. I was going to go about something completely different and then went about it a whole. He was like, why would you do all that? Why don't you do like cut all that work out and still be as effective? I was just like, genius. This is why we have a soul tribe. Hired. And you're hired too, Gemini. Because you know what? I want you to know, because we all go through it. But when, you know what, when I'm up, you know what, that's why I'm here to lift you up. And then when I'm feeling down, you come with that energy and you lift me up. Because you were bringing, you know, it was, oh, okay, last thing, and then I'll go, and then we'll get out, and then you can leave. Or you can, you know, but even in like those last couple weeks where you brought me all that sunshine, you know, I was having technical difficulties. I mean, just crazy madness. And you still brought that sunshine every week. And look at where you got me. And now it's my turn. And it really is a privilege. And I do appreciate it. And I hope you know that I do really greatly appreciate it. So I'll leave that there, Gemini. Keep the spirits high. Let's keep raising that vibration. And I will catch you on the next one later.